The idea of a Toyota Model AE 1948 carries a small historical inaccuracy, but it opens the door to a fascinating story about one of the rarest and most overlooked early vehicles produced by. The Toyota A itself was not produced in 1948, but rather between 1941 and 1943, during a time when the world, and especially Japan, was undergoing immense transformation due to the pressures of war, industrial change, and shifting national priorities. By 1948, Toyota had already transitioned into a new phase of development, but the legacy of the AE continued to echo through the company's designs and engineering philosophy. Understanding the A requires stepping into a time when the automotive industry in Japan was still in its infancy, when manufacturing a car domestically was not just an industrial achievement but also a symbol of national pride and technological independence. In the late 1930s, Toyota was still a relatively young automaker, having only recently separated from its parent company, Toyota Automatic Loom Works. The Japanese government was encouraging domestic industries to grow, particularly in sectors like automotive manufacturing, which had previously relied heavily on foreign imports. This environment pushed Toyota to accelerate its development of passenger vehicles, leading to the creation of early models such as the A, AB, and AC. These vehicles were heavily influenced by Western designs, especially American cars, which dominated global automotive trends at the time. The A emerged as a response to the need for a more compact, efficient vehicle that could be produced with fewer resources while still meeting the expectations of a growing domestic market. The design of the AE reflected both necessity and ambition. It retained the rounded, streamlined aesthetic that characterized many cars of the late 1930s and early 1940s, but it was smaller and more economical than its predecessors. The body shape was smooth and curved, with an emphasis on aerodynamics, even though the science of aerodynamics in automotive design was still in its early stages. The influence of cars like the Chrysler Airflow can be seen in its silhouette, but Toyota adapted these ideas to fit its own manufacturing capabilities and the realities of material shortages. The AE was not meant to be a luxury vehicle, it was intended to be practical, reliable, and efficient, qualities that would later become synonymous with Toyota as a brand. Inside, the A offered a simple and functional cabin. It could seat 5 passengers, but comfort was secondary to practicality. The materials used were modest, reflecting the constraints of wartime production. The dashboard was straightforward, with basic instrumentation and minimal decorative elements. There was little emphasis on luxury or advanced features, as the focus was on creating a vehicle that could serve its purpose under challenging conditions. This simplicity, however, was not a weakness, it was a deliberate design choice that aligned with Toyota's philosophy of efficiency and reliability. Under the hood, the AE was powered by a Type C engine, a 4-cylinder unit derived from the larger Type A engine used in earlier models. By effectively removing 2 cylinders from the Type A, Toyota created a smaller, lighter engine that still delivered adequate performance for the time. The engine had a displacement of approximately 2.3 liters and produced around 48 horsepower, which was sufficient to propel the car to a top speed of about 100 kilometers per hour. While these numbers may seem modest by modern standards, they were quite respectable for a compact car of that era, especially considering the limitations imposed by wartime resource shortages. The engineering of the AE was straightforward but robust. It used a ladder frame chassis, a common design at the time, which provided durability and ease of manufacturing. The car featured rear-wheel drive and a manual transmission, along with leaf spring suspension, which was simple but effective for handling the road conditions of the time. Toyota's approach to engineering the A emphasized reliability and ease of maintenance, ensuring that the vehicle could perform consistently even in less than ideal circumstances. This focus on durability would later become a defining characteristic of Toyota vehicles worldwide. Production of the AE began in 1941, but it was short-lived. Between 1941 and 1943, only 76 units were built, making it one of the rarest models in Toyota's history. The limited production was not due to a lack of demand or interest, but rather the result of external factors beyond Toyota's control. As World War II intensified, Japan's industrial resources were increasingly directed toward the war effort. Civilian vehicle production was deprioritized, and manufacturers like Toyota were required to focus on producing military vehicles and equipment. This shift effectively halted the development and production of passenger cars like the AE. By the time 1948 arrived, the world had changed dramatically. The war had ended, and Japan was in the process of rebuilding its economy and infrastructure. Toyota, like many other companies, faced significant challenges in restarting its operations. The company had to adapt to new economic conditions, limited resources, and a changed market landscape. It was during this period that Toyota introduced new models, such as the SAW, which marked a departure from pre-war designs and incorporated more modern engineering concepts. The A, by contrast, had already become a relic of a bygone era, its production long since ended. Despite its brief production run and limited numbers, the A played an important role in Toyota's history. It served as a bridge between the company's early experiments in automobile manufacturing and its post-war resurgence. The lessons learned from designing and building the A helped Toyota refine its approach to engineering, production, and design. The emphasis on efficiency, reliability, and practicality that defined the A would continue to influence Toyota's vehicles for decades to come. The rarity of the AE also adds to its mystique. With only 76 units ever produced, it is unlikely that many, if any, examples have survived to the present day. This makes it a largely unseen but deeply significant part of automotive history. Unlike more famous classic cars that are celebrated in museums and collections, the A exists more as a historical record than a physical artifact. Its story is preserved through photographs, documents, and the collective memory of Toyota's early years. Looking back, the A can be seen as a symbol of resilience and innovation. It was created during a time of uncertainty and scarcity, yet it embodied a forward-looking vision of what Japanese automotive engineering could achieve. The car may not have achieved commercial success or widespread recognition, but it contributed to the foundation upon which Toyota built its global reputation. Today, Toyota is known for producing millions of vehicles each year, with a reputation for quality and reliability that spans the globe. The roots of that reputation can be traced back to early models like the A, which laid the groundwork for everything that followed. The confusion surrounding the A 1948 designation highlights how historical details can sometimes become blurred over time. It is easy to associate a model with a later year, especially when considering the broader timeline of a company's development. However, clarifying these details allows for a deeper appreciation of the context in which the AE was created. It reminds us that automotive history is not just about individual models, but about the end challenges that shape their creation. In many ways, the A represents the spirit of early Toyota, a company striving to establish itself, experimenting with new ideas, and adapting to a rapidly changing world. It was not perfect, and it was not widely produced, but it was an important step in a much larger journey. The values that guided its development, efficiency, reliability, and practicality, remain central to Toyota's identity today. As the automotive industry continues to evolve, with new technologies such as electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and advanced manufacturing techniques, it is worth remembering the humble beginnings of companies like Toyota. The A may have been a small and short-lived model, but it played a role in shaping one of the most influential automakers in the world. Its story is a reminder that even the smallest steps can have a lasting impact, and that innovation often begins with simple, practical ideas. The legacy of the AE is not measured in sales figures or surviving examples, but in the influence it had on Toyota's approach to building cars. It demonstrated that a focus on efficiency and reliability could lead to meaningful progress, even in the face of significant challenges. It showed that innovation does not always require grand gestures, but can emerge from careful refinement and thoughtful design. And perhaps most importantly, it illustrated the importance of perseverance, as Toyota continued to develop and improve its vehicles despite the Kathina circumstances of the time. In the end, the Toyota A is more than just a historical footnote. It is a testament to the early efforts of a company that would go on to become a global leader in the automotive industry. Its story is one of ambition, adaptation, and resilience, and it continues to inspire those who look back at the origins of modern automotive engineering.